Welcome to all. Nowadays, media occupies an important place in everyday life. When we think of teaching learning process, without ICT, now learning process is difficult. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the role of teachers and parents in media usage by the children. For this topic, we have with us our distinguished guest, Dr. Letha and Dr. Deepthi. Let I take this opportunity to introduce both our guests. Dr. Letha presently is working as Chief Consultant for Samagra Shiksha Scheme at Department of School Education and Literacy, Ministry of Education. Her career extends more than 3 decades as assistant professor, associate professor in GGSIPU affiliated colleges and as guest faculty at Jamia Millia Islamia. She worked as an academic coordinator, Rainbow Home Center for Equity Studies. Also associated at Center for Early Childhood Development, Ambedkar University, and she was the recipient of Adarsh Vidyalaya Award for contribution in research. She has many publications to her credit, including 3 books and various international and national research papers. She contributed a lot for the development of course material of IGNOU. She is the member of different committees like member of NCERT committee, and she was a member in the implementation of NEP 2020 tasked by states and actively involved in policy matters with respect to school education. Welcome ma'am to this session. And coming to Deepthi Srivastava, Dr. Deepthi did her doctoral research on children's negotiation of difference and building a culturally responsive education for the disadvantaged children. She worked in several NGOs before being closely involved with the Center for Equity Studies and its Rainbow Homes program. She was a university teaching assistant at CIE Delhi University for 4 years. She worked as an assistant professor at a B.Ed college affiliated to GGSIPU. With Ignas Pahal, she is the researcher. She has been involved in statewide projects in Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan in teacher professional development. She was part of the team that made Adarshila a foundational learning teacher manual for SSA UP. She has conducted large-scale research and looked at the systemic approach to capacity building of teachers. Recently, she was involved in developing test items for FLN NAS 2021. Welcome Dr. Deepthi Srivastava to this session. Okay, now in this video, we are going to discuss the main points such as the impact of media upon children, gender stereotyping in media space, role of parents and teachers in channelizing media influence and means with which they engage constructively and critically with children in these debates. After watching this video, you should be able to discuss the need for interventions by teachers and parents in the media usage of children, understand the strategies to be used by teachers and parents in diminishing the negative influence of media on children, sensitize teachers and parents about their roles in regulating media influence, discuss the role of parents and teachers in dispelling stereotypes, and appreciate media as a powerful tool for inclusive education. And coming to our discussion, first I want to discuss the point that media usage is everywhere and children are continuously exposed to it. Do you see any need for intervention by teachers and parents? Dr. Letha, could you please explain?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Elizabeth, for flagging this important issue of media. As you rightly said, media is ubiquitous everywhere and anywhere, and it's significantly influencing children's, especially their cognitive development. Now we are in the 21st century and we are propelled and fueled by technology and communication network. So the benefits are plenty, where children can have information at the click of a button. There are new avenues and vistas of knowledge open before them, and there is scope for creativity, and not to speak of entertainment 24/7. It is available, and communication network with places far off, any corner of the world or the globe you can catch up. And then there is learning of new skill, sharing of ideas, exploring new talents, uploading and sharing and getting appreciation from all. So these are the benefits, but I must tell you, one has to tread with caution. Anything in excess is bad. So in the case of media also, there is a need for regularization. And whom can do this the best? Of course, teachers as well as parents. Why, you may ask? Parents? Parents have immense responsibility, and we have been discussing always the pivotal role of parents in bringing up children, in enhancing their holistic development. So parents are there, they are the first instructors, and they are available with the children and providing all sorts of support. So whenever they think that children are going away from the right path, parents can naturally bring them back to the right path. Similarly, school, as you know, is a very important agent of socialization. Gone are the days when teacher was only an instructor. Now her roles are multifarious, you must say. She's a facilitator, she's cajoling, nudging, counseling, reprimanding, and in many different ways she's facilitating the growth of children. So I would repeatedly say that parents as well as teachers play an important role, and they need to intervene and bring them to the right path.
Okay, Dr. Letha has correctly stated that parents are the first instructors. In teaching anyway, parents are the first instructors. But coming to the teachers, we can see that teachers' own biases and preconceived notions influence how they approach training the children about influence of media. Could Dr. Deepthi elaborate on this point?
Yes, sure, you're very right. Our own biases and preconceived notions have a lot to do with how we ourselves engage with any social media, text or visual, and also when it comes to a teacher, how we approach training children on it. Because studies have shown that engagement with social media, it normally involves scrolling through trending tweets, through news items that are prime time. So, we are not in the first place watching or looking at the whole picture. We are not looking at all the news. The other thing is, this has two problems now. One is that what we view is what we want to view. So it is reflective of our own perspective. The second half is that what we view, we do not question. Now, there is a lot of problem here then. There is a problem when it comes to controversial opinions posed as facts. Now, what happens here is when a teacher is preconceived or has biases and she's talking in the classroom, sometimes she's imposing her own views on the children, which is problematic. And the other bit is that sometimes teachers do not want to engage in controversial issues because she thinks children are innocent, they're young, they shouldn't be exposed to this. But studies show that it is the other way around. Children are deeply disturbed and such issues should be talked about. How do you talk about them is the other big question. Now, in the classroom, when we are discussing about any issues, and I must say that social science classroom becomes very important, and every other subject class also is important. So when some such thing comes up or is a part of the text that we are reading or discussing, the teacher has to, discuss the difference between a fact and opinion. She has to bring forth that when there is some opinion, you have to either back it by logic, or you have to give additional examples to support it, or you give evidence. Why do you say so? Or is it an emotional argument? So now this way she is getting children to become conscious and critical of news that they are watching, consuming, and also encourages them to look for additional resources to really verify the kind of messages, media messages and news, etc. that they are looking at.
Okay, rightly Dr. Deepthi has elaborated the issues, that in what way the teachers' preconceived notions about the usage of media by children. More than that, we know that children are spending majority of their time at school, but after that they will go home. In that case, Dr. Letha, could you please explain about the different ways in which parents can intervene?
As I said earlier, parents have a very crucial role in shaping the development of children. So when we talk of media, of course, there is a need for parents to intervene, and we have many different ways in which they can do it. First and foremost, I must say, parents themselves should have a sound knowledge. And we see that children know much better than the parents. And, so they have that complex with them, so they do not know how to approach the issue. So first I would say that the parent should immerse themselves in gain adequate knowledge about the available media and its usage. And the next step is active participation, that is co-viewing. And if you are watching a movie, after that you discuss the issues raised in the movie, have an interactive session, have dialogues, and discuss and see how the children are responding to your question. And then you understand about cyberbullying and tell them the issues related to that. And then more than that, supervision. We together you can fix the time, how many hours of media usage can be done, how many hours of TV watching can be allowed, and this is by a consensus, not just imposing a rule that you should watch only 1 hour or 2, because they will stealthily do that. So the next is that communication. You listen and do not lecture. You be a model but do not meddle. You provide but not intervene in that. So facilities you may provide whenever it is needed, especially in the time of pandemic and all. Children need lot of media for their education. You prepare them but do not protect them, and teach them what are the values and how this value erosion will happen if there is too much of exposure. And then we have seen that children, adapt many things. Like, they think that, as boys think that cigarette smoking is macho. Using a race car at high speed, this is trendy. So these things, it is the duty of the parent to differentiate from what is fantasy and what is reality.
Yes.
And use media in the right way.
Okay, rightly Dr. Letha has stated about how parents can intervene. And when we think of the term media, it is an umbrella term. So what all things are coming under media, and how can teachers and parents be sensitized about the usage of media by children? Dr. Deepthi, could you please elaborate on that?
Yes. The first part of the question, what is included in media per se? So there is print media and there is social media, and exposure to print is relatively lesser when it comes to younger group of children. Yes. But when we come to talk of adolescents, use of print as well as audio visual and the social media gains prominence. So we are talking of all these mediums in that way. And now when we come to thinking about how to sensitize teachers and parents, so the first question that comes to my mind before is, why to sensitize them?
Yes.
So, because like we discussed in the previous question, that one prime thing is that as adults, we need to unlearn our own biases and preconceived notions about how media projects something. Because, believe it or not, there is a generational gap.
Yes.
And there is a difference in the way children are now growing up and vocabularies are changing, and how we look at things from the lens of youngsters also. So we need to really be aware of that. Now, why do we need it again? Is we have to enhance interpersonal communication between us and the younger ones, and also among themselves, because children are getting prepared for their lives. So it is important that we sensitize both parents and teachers. How to sensitize parents? Now, there was this Wall Street journalist, Stephen Leckett. In 2010s, he recognized that now children who are in the age group of 5 years have more than 1,000 pictures on social media that their parents have uploaded. So, which is dangerous, because you're exposing that private life to somebody else. So he coined a term known as sharents rather than parents.
Yes.
So now parents themselves have become sharents. So because why do they do this? They do this because they get some positive reinforcement. My child is looking so nice. I have traveled here. I have done this with my child. So one is recognize that and stop doing that. And how to take it further? There can be workshops on teaching children to be smart about social media, on setting rules, like Dr. Letha mentioned in the previous question. There are certain ways in which parents can intervene. And I think parents should themselves have communities of talking to each other, where they can have a constructive discussion on how they are managing it with their children in a constructive manner. For teachers, I must say that teachers definitely need training on recognizing these media messages. They need training on identifying bias and stereotypes, and recognize the signs of its effects in the classroom. They need workshops on ways to address it in the classroom, on critical literacy of how to look at messages that you get from the media and the text, and how to take it forward in the classroom with the children.
Yes. Dr. Deepthi has correctly stated about that the need of media literacy. That is very important nowadays. So media literacy is very much important. And more than that, Dr. Letha, could you please explain some of the ways that one can recognize that intervention is required?
Yeah. We hear a lot of, about helicopter parents these days who are always hovering about children and monitoring. I wouldn't recommend that. But of course, we have to watch out for certain signals. So, especially as taking a cue from Dr. Deepthi, the interpersonal relationship is very important. When you interact with your children at home, you can notice certain signal, like children getting irritable very soon. There are a lot of stress and tension they are undergoing. And they become very withdrawn, and they prefer to be alone instead of mixing and interacting with others. And of course, the main impact is on academic. Less and less interest in academics and more on other activities. And sometimes you may also have noticed at home, children suddenly, when you are around, they remove, the page from what they are watching, or putting on mute when they are talking. All this, hiding thing, deleting messages, all these are, signal to know that children need to be told, and their media usage to be regularized that way.
Yes, surely. Then, what role can teachers play so media becomes a tool to promote critical thinking? Because we know that whatever ways we have introduced or whatever medium we have used, it should lead to the critical thinking among the students. Could you please explain some of the ways or what tool can be used to promote the critical thinking among children? Dr. Deepthi?
Okay, thank you. Yes, now this is a very important question. Using media as a tool for promoting critical thinking. Now, I'll take a specific example in this case and maybe elaborate to make it clear. If I look at social media and the way gender stereotypy is done in the social media, yes, and how does teacher take it up in the classroom? Now, what happens is studies show social media misrepresents gender, yes, and it does it so in three ways. One, it shows an under-representation of women. Two, there is a stereotypical representation of women. Three, the depictions of relationship between men and women is problematic. If we look at India in that case, in the last decade, the number of women who are in social media work has doubled. But the ratio still is 4:1 for men is to women. So that's the difference we are living with. Now, there's a stereotypical representation if you look at either advertisements or movies or songs or whatever, or even in stories in print. There are socially endorsed views where men are shown as powerful, strong, and women are passive, dependent, beautiful, slim. Now, depictions between men and women's relationships are also problematic. Women are dependent. They are enmeshed in relationships and housework, or both. So now, what about the role of teachers to make media as a tool to promote critical thinking? First of all, teacher lets the students observe and talk about what they think about it. Next, a very powerful tool is critical analysis of print or audio-visual media. So there is a critical review of advertisements, of movies, of songs that children like. So there is a reality versus there is a portrayal. Talk about it. What is a problematic portrayal? Which advertisement shows it this way? What could the alternatives be? But because the ultimate idea is that there is a certain problem in the way misrepresentation is happening, but how do you redesign it? So let students themselves redesign these messages in an alternative way and show a more gender neutral message in contrast to what they have analyzed. So that could be one.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Deepthi, for explaining about the redefining role of men and women in media space. And lastly, I would like to ask how media can be used as a powerful tool for inclusive education. Dr. Letha can pour out some of the ideas, and afterwards Dr. Deepthi also can add.
Yeah. I'm glad that, inclusive education is gaining much more attention than ever before, especially in our country. We have many provisions for, inclusive education in our school setup. Now, for inclusion, we mean that it caters, the education that we give caters to diverse needs. The children can be very different. Ours is a diverse country with diverse type of population, especially children, and catering to their individual needs is what is inclusive education all about. The first is that technology can be a very powerful tool, especially in access to knowledge. More than the classroom, there are many children who are unable to, reach classroom and study with others. So technology is a very powerful tool in that way, where there is access to books. Now we have, talking books, those who cannot read. So these new provisions are there. We have immersion readers are there, and there are provisions like, reading from screen to book and book to screen. All these are available, not just the braille books and others. and similarly, children are more and more engaged in projects through this multimedia, and they are able to tap their own talents, and teachers are also able to identify many talent. I see, especially in music and all that, children are coming up with so many videos which they never thought they would ever be able to do, and their creativity is exhibited through technology, through multimedia, and there are many provision, and for children, for facilitating them, we have the use of videos, classroom, and e-content is provided to them, infographics are there, presentations, animation, and we have so many new technologies available with which we can help and facilitate our children who need a special hand in these.
Okay.
So both parents as well as teachers, they can definitely,
both roles are in.
yeah, they
Okay,
can
Dr.
definitely
Deepthi.
use
Yes,
it.
right, as rightly said by Dr. Letha, that social media tools have enhanced access to content for all children in the classroom, which is a very big thing. Access to content as well as engagement with content, because the
Yes.
kind of tools that you were talking about, talking books and speech to text or
Yes.
text to speech. Now, no child in the classroom can be left behind. After you have engaged with a certain content, you can now put it back into words
Yes.
through these various tools, and that's how knowledge in the classroom grows. That's how people become their own self and independent. So,
Hope that through this video you might have understood the role of teachers and parents in media usage by the children, and the various ways how parents and teachers can intervene in regulating the media usage by children.